LeBron James may have just pulled off one of the biggest business plays in the NBA. On June 29, Bronny's $2.3 million contract was extended and fully guaranteed. Then, less than a day later, LeBron reportedly called the front office and said he was leaving the Lakers. He locked in his son's money and then immediately moved on. Now the players inside that locker room are done staying quiet, and according to reports, what they're saying is even crazier than the reaction online. Just wait until you hear what Luka Doncic reportedly had to say about the damage this is doing to team chemistry. Imagine grinding your whole life for an NBA roster spot and then showing up to camp beside a player who averaged 2 points in college but is making millions because of who his father is. Insiders say Walker Kessler was especially frustrated by the whole thing. This is a guy who turned down a 5-year, $140 million extension from Utah because he didn't want to be stuck on a rebuilding team. He believed in his talent, survived all the trade rumors, and then signed a 4-year, $130 million contract with the Lakers a few weeks ago because Luka Doncic specifically wanted him there. That's what earning your place looks like, so it's easy to understand why Kessler might feel a certain way about Bronny getting a multi-year safety net before proving anything at this level. According to insider reports, Kessler was asked about joining the team and didn't sugarcoat it. He reportedly said Utah offered him $140 million and he turned it down because he wanted to be somewhere that valued him for basketball reasons. He also said it creates a strange feeling walking into a locker room and seeing guaranteed money handed to someone who hasn't had to prove his game or body at this level. The wild part is that Kessler isn't some newcomer who doesn't know anybody. He already has connections to these players through Colin Sexton in Utah and the Rudy Gobert trade that also involved Jared Vanderbilt. These are guys who fought their way into the league and earned every opportunity. Meanwhile, Bronny stands out because he skipped over that entire struggle. But Kessler being bothered isn't even the messiest part of this story. What's happening behind the scenes with Jared Vanderbilt makes this look even worse. The way Vanderbilt is being treated has people believing LeBron and Rich Paul practically run the Lakers. The Lakers are reportedly looking at Vanderbilt's $22.4 million contract as a problem because they want to waive and stretch him to free up $7 million in pursuit of Jonathan Kuminga. We're talking about one of the team's best perimeter defenders, a player who throws his body around and does the dirty work that helps teams win games. Yet, instead of rewarding that, the organization is treating him like he's expendable while Bronny sits comfortably on a fully protected $2.3 million contract. The hypocrisy gets even crazier when you remember that Rich Paul represents both players. That's right, the same agent who reportedly pressured teams during the draft to steer Bronny to the Lakers is now watching another one of his clients potentially be shown the door. When reports about the situation started leaking out, Jared Vanderbilt didn't hide how frustrated he was with what he saw as a double standard. He reportedly called out the front office directly and said, "I just want to know why my contract is the problem. I played 65 games, I defended myself, I rebounded, I did everything they asked. Now they're talking about waiving and stretching me to free up $7 million, and Bronny's $2.3 million is untouchable." Honestly, that's a wild situation. A proven defensive player like Vanderbilt is being treated as expendable, while an unproven player is fully protected because his father is LeBron James. This kind of favoritism can seriously hurt team chemistry, and according to the same insider reports, Vanderbilt isn't the only player bothered by it. Quentin Grimes reportedly didn't even wait for training camp before questioning the coaching staff. He allegedly walked into the practice facility and asked why he had to survive getting moved around the league just to end up sharing a backcourt with someone who received millions by default. He reportedly reminded the coaches that he was traded by Dallas the same week as Luka Doncic and had to rebuild everything from the ground up just to get back to this point. Then he looked at the roster and saw Bronny's guaranteed deal and wondered why nobody was talking about it. You can understand why he feels that way. His path to a $60 million contract was a grind compared to Bronny James. Grimes was drafted 25th overall by the Knicks in 2021 and spent years building his reputation as a defender. Then Dallas traded for him before eventually sending him to Philadelphia for Caleb Martin during the same week they moved Luka. He was treated like an extra piece in a transaction. Instead of complaining, he went out and averaged nearly 22 points per game for the Sixers and forced his way back into the conversation. Meanwhile, Bronny received a safety net after averaging 2 points in college and before LeBron had even finalized his own exit plans. It's hard not to notice the difference in how these situations are being handled. And the backcourt situation may only get messier because Grimes isn't the only guard who had to fight for his opportunity. The Lakers blog Show Life even ran a headline that said, "Lakers Colin Sexton signing could become a costly Bronny James mistake." That didn't sit well with Sexton. He reportedly told reporters, "Utah, Charlotte, Chicago, Louisiana, I've been everywhere. Every trade, every buyout. I kept working, I kept scoring, averaged 15 and 3 just to get a room exception deal and a chance. I don't hold grudges, but I do take notes." It's pretty bold to call a player a mistake when he just averaged 15.4 points with the Hornets and Bulls. Sexton earned a $19 million room exception because he produced on the court, while Bronny's $2.3 million deal continues to draw attention. But according to reports, the strongest reaction didn't even come from one of the veterans. It came from 24-year-old Jaden Hardy, who reportedly said what a lot of players in that building were thinking but didn't want to say out loud. When a reporter finally asked Jaden Hardy what he thought about a rookie skipping the same development path every young player usually has to take, he didn't dance around it. He simply shrugged and called it plain nepotism. What's funny is Hardy is only 24 years old, so he's basically in the same generation as Bronny and still trying to establish himself. The difference is that Hardy had to experience the rough side of the NBA business just to earn his spot. He spent 3 seasons in Dallas learning next to Luka Doncic before getting caught up in the trade that sent Luka to Los Angeles. Then he landed in Washington and had to start over with an entirely new system while averaging 9.2 points for a struggling Wizards team just to prove he belonged. After that, he was moved again to the Lakers in the DeAndre Ayton deal for a couple of second-round picks. That means he had to adapt to 4 different coaching systems across 3 cities in only 18 months. Hardy packed up his entire life multiple times just for a chance to be a backup guard, while Bronny received a multi-million-dollar safety net. So it's not hard to understand why some of the younger players are frustrated by the favoritism. But the bigger story starts with what the Lakers' new centerpiece was doing behind closed doors while all this was happening. Luka Doncic was reportedly sitting in a private booth at Craig's on Melrose Avenue while the front office mapped out the franchise's future without LeBron James even being there. That meeting took place on May 3rd of last year, when Rob Pelinka and JJ Redick met with Luka and his manager Lara Beth Seeger to discuss building the Lakers around him. The craziest part is that LeBron, who was still supposed to be the face of the team at the time, wasn't even part of the conversation. Ramona Shelburne later said on NBA Today that the organization laid out its plans during that meeting, and those plans didn't include LeBron James. They were openly preparing for a future led by Luka. Back when the Lakers traded for Doncic in February of 2025, they promised him they would build a real contender by the summer of 2026. Luka believed them, signed his 3-year, $165 million extension, and then watched the team bring in Walker Kessler for $130 million, Quentin Grimes for $60 million, and Austin Reeves for $185 million. Then they complicated everything by extending Bronny's contract. What makes the situation even stranger is that Luka and Bronny have shown almost no chemistry on the court. Bronny only saw playoff minutes because Luka and Reeves were injured. As soon as Luka got healthy again, Bronny went right back to averaging 2.9 points. There may not be any personal issues between them, but Luka's comments made his feelings pretty clear. When reporters asked about the extension, he reportedly said, "I said what I said on Instagram. LeBron was incredible and I learned from him, but I signed because they showed me the plan, told me what we were building, and we built it. Kessler and Reeves, that's the roster I was promised." Then he looks down the depth chart and Bronny is still sitting there. And now Austin Reeves is one of the players who has to help clean up this entire post-LeBron situation alongside Luka, especially after Rui Hachimura was traded to the Clippers on his new $28 million contract. Think about the position Austin Reeves is in right now. This is a player who went from being completely undrafted to earning his status in the league. Now, he's trying to carry a stripped-down roster while millions are tied up in a player who can't even average 3 points per game. Imagine working your way to a $185 million max extension and then sharing a backcourt with someone who skipped the entire process because of who his father is. Reeves did everything this season. He averaged 23.3 points and 5.5 assists. He also spent his entire offseason training with JJ Redick, so he understands exactly what it takes to compete and win at this level. What's even more surprising is that Austin has usually been one of Bronny's biggest supporters. He's consistently defended him publicly and tried to encourage him, but even he eventually gave reporters an honest answer. In a recent interview with ESPN, reportedly said, "I'm glad he's here. I just hope he earns it now that he can't hide behind the 'my dad's LeBron' thing anymore." That's a pretty heavy statement coming from one of the nicest guys on the team. And according to these reports, the locker room frustration may only get worse because the younger players who earned their opportunities are tired of the favoritism. That brings us to Cameron Carr. Cameron Carr actually knows what it's like to be the son of an NBA player without receiving a massive handout. His father, Chris Carr, played 6 seasons in the NBA and now works as a Division II assistant coach. So Cameron grew up around basketball, but he still had to prove himself every step of the way. He started at Tennessee, suffered a serious thumb injury, and eventually transferred to Baylor. There, he broke through by averaging 18.9 points per game and worked his way into becoming the 24th overall pick. And when he was drafted, he sat at his introductory press conference and said he planned to come in, study the players who came before him, and learn from them.
Get to sit down and talk to you guys, so thank you for having me. But man, walking in the building, first thing is like you just notice just the rich tradition and the people that have been here before you, and you just gotta give.
That's a first-round pick who earned his spot strictly on merit. And that's what makes the comparison to Bronny so interesting, because his agent reportedly spent the draft process making sure other teams stayed away. When Cameron Carr was asked about competing in an environment where one player seems to have different rules, he didn't hold back. He reportedly said, "As a young player entering this league, you expect everything to be based on production, but when the rules change for one person, it affects the chemistry of the whole team." A lot of LeBron fans will say this is just jealousy or people hating on the family, but it's hard to dismiss it that way when even basketball legends are weighing in. Take Shaquille O'Neal. This is someone who watched his own sons fight through major heart surgery at UCLA, worked through LSU, and then tried to continue his career with G League Ignite. His other son, Shakir, had to go overseas just to get regular opportunities as a professional. And through all of that, Shaq never called teams on draft night or demanded guaranteed money for his kids before they proved themselves. They either earned their opportunities or they didn't. That's why Shaq has the credibility to say what a lot of people have been quietly thinking. When the topic came up on his podcast, he reportedly said, "My son Sharif played college ball, got drafted, tried to make it, but he's not in the NBA. Know why? Because he had to earn it. That's the game." Then he added that with Bronny, this isn't really about development. And if a Hall of Famer calling out the situation wasn't enough, the next reaction took things even further. That brings us to Kwame Brown, the former #1 overall pick selected by Michael Jordan in 2001, who has spent the last 25 years carrying the label of one of the biggest busts in basketball history. And Kwame went off on the entire situation.
I see a kid just coasting because he has a guaranteed contract. Anybody else in that position would be cut. Somebody going underneath, if you ain't a knockdown shooter.
Kwame Brown absolutely went off about the situation, but the reaction that may say the most came from the man who helped bring LeBron James to Los Angeles in the first place. Magic Johnson was a major reason LeBron joined the Lakers back in 2018. He was involved in the meetings and helped lay out the plan to reshape the franchise. So when LeBron officially announced he was leaving, Magic posted a farewell message online thanking him for everything he did. What stood out, though, was that he never mentioned Bronny. He celebrated LeBron's legacy and the family's impact, but left the rookie completely out of the statement. That's notable because Magic is not someone who publicly embarrasses Lakers players. His silence on Bronny ended up speaking for itself. When reporters later asked him about it, Magic gave a very diplomatic answer. He said, "I want to be clear, I love LeBron James. The Lakers are in good hands with Luka and Austin. It's an exciting time. I'm sure Bronny will continue to develop." Next question. And if that sounded like Magic trying to stay neutral, then look at the people LeBron has reportedly tried to push back against. Stephen A. Smith has been one of the loudest voices criticizing the entire Bronny situation from the very beginning.
Stop this. We all know that Bronny James is in the NBA because of his dad.
Stephen A. Smith's criticism got so direct that LeBron James reportedly confronted him face-to-face on the court over his comments. But now that LeBron is out of Los Angeles, Stephen A. doesn't seem to be holding anything back. He went on ESPN and doubled down on everything he had been saying. According to him, "I'm going to repeat what I said before and what I got confronted for saying. This young man has not earned a guaranteed NBA contract based on merit. I'm not calling him a bad person. I'm saying he doesn't deserve that spot on this team, especially right now." Then he pointed to the rest of the Lakers roster. He said every player on that team fought their way there. Walker Kessler turned down $140 million. Quentin Grimes and Colin Sexton got moved around the league repeatedly. Jaden Hardy was treated like a trade piece. Cameron Carr came back from a serious injury and averaged nearly 19 points per game. Then, according to Stephen A., there's Bronny James, who was selected 55th overall after allegations that his agent pressured teams during the draft process until the Lakers signed him. And he finished with a bigger point aimed directly at LeBron's supporters. He said LeBron's final move as a Laker wasn't a game-winning shot or another playoff run. In his view, it was making sure money continued flowing to his family while the rest of the NBA acted as if that was completely normal.